Now that I have your attention, I would like to talk to you about why taking a music class should be mandatory for everyone before graduating high school. Everyone listens to music whether they want to or not. It's in almost all of the digital media we consume and even in most stores while we shop. Because music is so unavoidable, I believe that we should have an understanding of it. I took a competitive choir class for 7 years and did marching band. Therefore, I have an understanding of music theory and technique. Learning these things has only made me love music so much more, so today I will tell you about how taking a music class will make listening to music more enjoyable, widen your worldview, and build you another skill set. Firstly, I would like to point out how understanding the musical process will make listening to it more enjoyable. You will have more of an appreciation for whatever it is your specific skill set is. For example, vocal techniques. When listening to the song Picture You by Chappell Roan, Chappell does something called vocal flips, which are similar to vocal runs but are actually quite a bit harder. Understanding talent is paramount when trying to analyze an artist. Listening to someone hit high A's or make a guitar cry is much more impressive when you've tried to achieve those things yourself. Taking these classes also allows you to experience a small part of the life that artists do. The time and effort that they put into creating a piece is the same time and effort that we as students put into perfecting something for a concert. It also allows you to understand what is happening in a piece. According to imusician.pro, the top 100 songs typically have 4 to 5 writers and 2 to 3 producers. Many people believe that it is one writer and one producer. That means that there are many different creatives who are being overlooked and many different things that aren't being picked out besides just rhythms and lyrics. Techniques are also used to express feelings in things like classical music where there are little words, or if they are, they're in languages like Latin. Singers rely heavily on vocal techniques such as sound, pitch, tone, as a way to illustrate meaning to the audience. Music theory also gives you a deeper understanding of the music itself. How long a note is played for, or what notes are played together, are all a part of music theory, which are needed in order to compose a piece or pick out what is right and wrong in one. It also is something that you most likely already enjoy. Insider Radio states that 76% of the US population listens to online radio. Taking a class in something that you are interested, I'm sure by now you can tell, is far more entertaining than something you have no interest in at all. Taking a music class is also a nice break in your day. A quote from my music school reads, "Without a doubt, academics are important and should be a priority for every student. But when academics become the only focus, students become overwhelmed and consumed." I believe that my biggest takeaway, though, from my music classes were how much it expanded my view on the world and its cultures. In these classes, we would study pieces that would give us a new perspective on their way of life. A lot of the music that we listen to is already influenced by other cultures. In his latest song, Noid, Tyler, the Creator, sampled a song called Nizakampanga Ngozi by the Ngozi family and Paul Ngozi. The vocals are very obviously not in English, but the instrumental itself is a sample as well from bass lines and drum beats that were prominent in Zambian music from the 70s and 80s. Certain vocal techniques also come from different cultures. The vocal flips that we talked about earlier were influenced by Mongolian throat singing and traditional Vietnamese singing. Techno music, which was also born here in Michigan, is a mixture of European dance and the production of African Americans. Some of the most popular artists in the world are also from different cultures. Bad Bunny is the 21st most popular artist on Spotify, yet he's from Puerto Rico. His music has very obvious Puerto Rican influence from his ethnicity, but the instrumentals and rhythms that he uses are also ones that are found very commonly in other Puerto Rican and Latino music. Bob Marley is considered to be one of the most influential artists of the 20th century for pioneering reggae music, which stemmed from his Jamaican roots. Freddie Mercury was 17 when he moved to England from Zanzibar. Overall, it widens your perspective, gives insight into their way of life in a much more intimate way than the screen. Music is typically more raw and honest and touched by the people. Therefore, it is less filtered than what we see on television. Music is extremely important in cultures. In an article by Meadow Memorials, they explain how music is used as a way of remembrance and prayer during Jamaican funerals. To bring the focus back to you, though, lastly, taking a music course builds you a new skill set. People like having hobbies. A study done at Kettering University states, social hobbies facilitate bonds with others and add another layer of support to your life, serving to reduce stress. They are also a great way to fill time. When you're bored, you don't just stare at a wall, you look for something to go do. It is a skill set that is fun and actually good for you because it engages multiple different parts of your brain at once. Understanding music can also be useful, even if it's just for fun. For example, I have a lot of different musician friends, and when they ask for my opinion on something, I'm able to give them valid feedback. At some point, there will be children that we make an impression on, and a great way to bond with them is to teach them a skill set that you love and find enriching. It also teaches discipline. You must have a certain level of professionalism on stage as a performer, but also in the classroom. Learning music is a lot like learning another language, and if you don't practice at it, no matter how talented you are, something will always lack. Finally, it gives you a purpose. Think of athletes. The way that being an athlete is a part of their identity, the same way works for musicians. There's also a sense of community that is built amongst musicians. There are shared experiences like the anger of the people around you not knowing how to count rhythms that are exclusive to only musicians. Being a musician is also hard. It is hard work, and people take pride in their hard work. So when it pays off, it's something that we want to show off and form into part of our identity. So today we have discussed many of the great reasons why music education is so important. It makes listening to music more enjoyable, gives you a wider worldview, and develops another skill set. Because it is so useful, I believe we should all have to take a music education course of some sort before graduating high school. I know we have all finished high school, but we are still students. There is still time to take a course if you have not yet, and to encourage the youth we will encounter in the future to do so as well.